I have to do to keep them off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf the violent one? He wasn't teaching hate, he was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back. So they said, no, he's teaching hate, he's violent.
Black skin, white mask. Already know that life gets hard. And they say that we're used to the harshness. If it wasn't for the pain, I'd laugh. Truth is we knew about light before dark. Turned music to art and taught everyone to dance. And still no chance. Freedom must be too much to ask. Bleeding from the ache in my heart. Sometimes I wish it was whites in the middle like France. No, I'm not racist, just jarred. Got hate before bush, not plants. They say we should leave it all in the past, but my brother's still dying on the end, so I can't. So if my attitude stinks, don't ask, cause a hashtag won't help you understand my stance. Fuck a melody, this is real rap if you ever see. Head hot, cause the system won't let me be. Tell me how I thrive in a place that don't cherish me. And they wonder why we all need therapy. Pre the energy, yeah, just another nigga to Penelope. And they don't get it how we bottom of the barrel and still drip sauce on the world, no recipes. Weight of the world on my shoulders, all the pressures in life still tightly holding me. Pour libation for all of the fallen soldiers, but the pain still goes unspoken. They want us to stay broken, never gonna fold, fuck folding. I see my people lost hope, shit, don't you know we all been chosen.
We are oppressed, we are exploited, we are downtrodden, we are denied not only civil rights but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.
Forgive me if you don't understand. Sorry, I'm just misunderstood. Punished if I try to take a stand. Meanwhile, my friends dying in the hood. And you can say that we're killing ourselves, but truth is they're killing us still. How you saying Black Lives Matter, but never took a moment to help? Just a trend that you post for yourself. And yeah, it takes a toll on my health, cause I want wealth like everyone else. But it's 10 times harder for me, and they wonder why my brothers put food on a scale. Yeah, when I die I'll see heaven, that's real. Cause we already living in hell. Wish I could share all the pain I felt, oh well. I guess I won't speak till my scars do heal. I just wanna be black with a meal. Yeah, that's for every time I had no meals. Cause my mother couldn't keep up the bills. With a handful of kids, no home, just a cell. And I don't care if conscience don't sell. Knowledge brings height to an elf. Went from sitting on thrones to a cell. Been blessed, man, it wasn't by chance we fell. Weight of the world on my shoulders, all the pressures in life still tightly holding me. Pour libation for all of the fallen soldiers, but the pain still goes unspoken. They want us to stay broken, never gonna fold, fuck folding. I see my people lost hope, shit, don't you know we all been chosen.
Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Yeah, this is real life. Kaa kimya skia. Real talk. We're coming from the ghetto. Kinondoni, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania mpaka UK. The world finest. Yeah, pambana kijana. Life is too hard, life is too short. Shaa kwa nango cha ghetto. Usikate tamaa. Jua kwamba ipo siku tutatoboa. Tutatoka. Gang for life.
I am the true name.
Blessed love, family. His time is up, family. We are here once again. Yes, indeed, we are. Love, peace, and unity. Grandma Liz, Hurricane Toya, those in the clouds. Blessed love to all of you. Blessed love, blessed love. Thank you so much. You know what? I really want to actually put it out there to the mods, because they give their time relentlessly. you know, unconditionally, and they do that with absolutely no reward whatsoever, really, you know. And I just want to put it out there to the mods because I love you guys very, very much. I don't often say it, and we've all been through quite a lot together, you know. We've carried a heavy load throughout this journey, and I really want to say big up to all my mods, especially those that have weathered the storm, you know, and we've come out triumphant on the other side. So bless up to the His Time Is Up family in general, especially Brown Sugarful. We see you there, sis, and definitely the mods. Blessed, blessed, blessed. We're talking about strong warrior women. You hear me? You hear me? You heard, as they say in America. Yes, yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. So tonight, my brothers and sisters, we're going to take a little trip down memory lane again, because you know what? I feel the need to reassert certain principles and certain things, you know. It's really bothered me. I spoke about it briefly last week, but it's really bothered me, this resurgence of the one named Bloody Vincent Rat. Yeah. And also, last week, we spoke about this little nasty piece of work. What's his name? Colin Moore. Where are you? Should be here somewhere. Colin Bloody Moore. Nasty, nasty pedo piece of work. Him. The one that's just received, he's just received a conviction. I'm not sure if he's got the bird yet, but he's definitely had a conviction last week. We had a lot of convictions last week. And I really want to emphasize how much all the cases that we've been talking about since the last couple of weeks are cases that came to us in 2021, 2020 and 2021. And what are we in now? 2024. So it has taken 3 years to get those cases to some kind of conclusion. And we're glad that those cases are in the 1% that made it to trial and in the 1.8% that made it to a conviction. So when these people say where are the cases? Where are all these people you're calling out? And there's no cases. Of course there are cases, but they were always in the pipeline. And anything that we've done recently, you ain't going to see that for another few years. Such is the nature of this beast. Yeah? But in me revisiting this Colin story, because as I said, it's been in my inbox since October. I was looking back, July 2021. It's been in my inbox since then. And we've been liaising and following the course of things. And it was decided by the person that was responsible for bringing him to justice that they were going to follow a particular path with this before they spoke their truth. So we've got lots of cases like that, loads in the background that you won't hear about them until you get a conclusion, whether that's a guilty or a not guilty. And some people, it's a different reality for them, and they speak out when they feel to speak out. And that's the point. The point is that we're not just here for fodder. These are real cases, and sometimes we get triumphs, and this is definitely a triumph. He got a bird. He will get a bird. I don't think he's been sentenced yet. The other one as well, I'm going to cover him next week. Do you guys remember Jerome? You remember Jerome that was terrorizing the good white women of Wales? Put up a one if you remember Jerome. And poor Josephine, I think her name was, that came on the live, that really believed. Poor Josephine, she was a middle-aged housewife. He's a young Jamaican guy. And poor woman really believed that, what's happened to this? A bit weird. The poor woman really believed that he was in love with her when all he was doing was shafting her and ill-treating her and abusing her. You guys remember that? Yeah. Yeah, the proper old schoolers will remember that one. Well, Jerome, and do you remember all of the vitriol we got? People trying to support and saying that we had no evidence and we don't know that he's guilty and whatever. Well, this week, along with Colin Moore, along with Michael Winter from Myersfield, this week, that guy in Cardiff Crown Court also was found guilty on many counts. In fact, he didn't even have a trial because he pleaded guilty. Do you guys remember him on the live? Do you guys remember that man on the live and the way that he was trying to defend himself? Do you remember? Okay. Pleaded guilty. Yeah? He's going to get his bird soon as well, the sentence. And actually, I'm going to try to get up there for these things. We need to be present at these things. Yes, we do. Number one, because we need to follow through and support those victims that are getting that. You know, I'm always in touch with them, even if it's a month, 2 months, even a year has passed, but I will still somehow get in touch with those women. I can't keep up with absolutely everybody. And for the most part, I wait after a little while. You know, there's a degree of aftercare that takes place after a woman has shared her story. But, you know, we're not all going to keep up as friends like all these women constantly. Some of them that happens, some of them that doesn't, and people get on with their lives, you know. But every so often we'll get a text, we'll get a message, I'll send a message, and we check in. And if there's cases to be had, we definitely keep in touch along that journey and that route, no matter how many years it takes. All right. So that's what happens. And in the case of Colin Moore, you know, Colin Moore was a guy that was, I think, from kind of based over in West Kensington sides, or West, let's call him West. If you're from West, you're gonna traverse Ladbroke Grove, you're gonna traverse Shepherd's Bush, you're gonna traverse the place. But I think he was based in West Ken. He used to tell people that he was a children's psychologist, but he actually wasn't that. I don't believe that he was that. There's never been any evidence to show that he was that. But, you know, that was his altered ego. And he said that because he worked in a children's home. Okay. So imagine my shock when, in dealing with this case or in hearing about it and, you know, communicating with the sister along the passage of all of this case till it's come to its conclusion. And I realized that actually the children's homes that he was working in were the Ebony Care Children's Homes. The people that we called out in 2021. He was one of them. Yeah. I was like, whoa, hold on a minute. Told that story. It was a historic story. It was tied up with Vincent Rat, which is even more historic. And we told a story and nobody denied it. And, you know, there was people trying to stand up for those people. Of course, there always will be, naturally. But there was such a wealth, a swell of compliance and corroboration when we told that story that, you know, it was hard to disprove. Let's just call it that. And it was actually a story that was very close to home. So I was going back as to when I told that story. I wanted to go back on it when I realized that. Blessed love, Sister Karma Wolf. You don't know, my sister. I salute you as always. Yeah, so when I realized that this guy, Colin Moore, was one of the pedophiles that was working in the Ebony Care Home that we called out in 2021, that was linked to the Lambeth Care Homes pedophile scandal, but the end of the scandal that they wanted to not talk about. Because what happened with the Lambeth Care Home scandals, it started that the outburst, the outpouring started with the Shirley Oaks survivors, and I salute them as well. It started with the Shirley Oaks survivors. Now, Shirley Oaks was, I guess it was really an estate of children's homes. It wasn't just one children's home. It was a set of children's homes across Lambeth where Lambeth Wood Place looked after children, or what we today call looked after children. They would put children in care in these children's homes that were all over Lambeth. Now, Lambeth owned those homes, okay? But Lambeth also had a way of placing the black children in black run care homes, because of course Lambeth, 1970s, 1980s, Lambeth was all about trying to be inclusive and politically correct at that time. So they were very big on black services for black people, and they would fund those types of things. So what happened is, I mean, what can you call those care homes? The black run care homes became this network of tenement care homes. They were not set up properly. Some of the properties were in disrepair. Yeah, the staff were not trained. They did not have, obviously you didn't have CRB or DBS checks in those days, but you still had checks and balances, and none of them were compliant to these checks and balances. It was horrific what took place. And of course, it was in the heart of the black community, housing Lambeth children, black children, in these care homes. And so it was open to the exploitation that was taking place and the corruption that was taking place at the hands of people like Vincent Rat. It was right on his patch. It was a money maker. It's still a money maker, that type of stuff. Yeah. So obviously Vincent Rat comes calling. There is protection money to be had, and I will tell the story. But I was looking back for when I told the story. I knew it was back in the day. I knew it was back when I was in Tanzania when I first started this thing. And I went back and I looked at it on my Instagram. But what strikes me about all of looking back at that live is, you know, I remember the state of mind that I was in, and I've been doing a lot of fasting. You will see that I'm noticeably thinner and looking a little drawn. This is what happens when you're cleansing. Yeah, anyone who knows about alkaline living and that level of cleansing will know that's how it is, and then you come back. So I was in that state, and my mind was so crystal clear. I was unbridled. I think that's the word, isn't it? And once I got back into this country and I started to do YouTube lives, you know, and I was advised to tone it down, and you kind of have to on YouTube, otherwise they'll just tear down all your videos. Do you know what I mean? But I look back on that and I think, you know, that is actually where I am at in my spirit, in my heart. I might temper my words a little bit more, but actually that's where it's at. And that is true spirit of his time is up, you know. But what's more significant is the fact that we told the story about the care homes, not knowing that this guy was one of them at that time, you know, not knowing at that time. And I actually found that out not long after that, because it was because of that live that the victims of this man started to come forward. Not because I'd spoken about him, I didn't know his existence, but because I'd spoken about the care homes, the Ebony Care Homes, and the fact that Lambeth do not recognize the children that suffered at the hands of the pedophiles there. It was black on black all the way. And their excuse for not paying redress to these victims is that, well, actually, we didn't own those care homes. But hold on, you still placed Lambeth children in those care homes which were in Lambeth. What? There's a little cohort of some of those victims that are still fighting. We began by fighting for that. Our first march was about that. And we put it outside Lambeth Town Hall and different places. And in a sense, we've kind of, you know, it's been a journey. I wouldn't say we've lost our way. But in some regards, it's, you know, it's always good to get back to your roots, isn't it? And that's what I feel we need to do tonight, basically. So I'm going to show that live. Perhaps not all of it, because I think my lives in those days was about bloody 6 hours long. You know, I had all the time in the world. I was just sitting in lockdown in Tanzania enjoying myself. And everyone else had nothing else to do either, like furloughed or at home on lockdown. And it was, yeah, we used to have a good time, man. But it's unbridled, people. And yeah, I might have to edit a few of the words tonight, I think, actually. Big up, Sister Surly. I can see you there, my sister. But yeah, I might have to edit some of the words because I do not hold back. And what you see there is my raw, unbridled self. But we visit the story of where this man, this dirtiness, Colin Pedo Brown, was mashing his dirty works. Imagine that, though, the way that things come together, you know? The way that things come together. So hear the story, and it does include what this baby father in the story, because there's a link between who I'm going to tell you about in this live, and many of you wouldn't have seen it, you know, if you weren't there from the real beginning, when there was no such thing as Afua Speaks Community Conversations, and I was just Afua jumping on lives raw. You know, if you were there at that time, you guys might actually remember these lives. But I'm going to share that with you tonight. And just bear in mind that this guy, Pedo Colin Moore, is involved in this, although we did not know that at the time. So bear with. Right. All right. Let's get back to it. Okay. So, yeah, I'll just wait for the relevant individual get back in the room. Give me 1 minute and I'll get back on. Right. So yes. So then what happened was that I went and I told that person that I would be coming back at a certain time. They shut me down. You know, when the roles are reversed, these men turn into the bitter baby mother. And so therefore they shut me down, refused to allow me to speak to my child. Yeah. Refused to allow me to speak to my child. This is the same family as the people that I'm talking about that did this to this little girl, or allowed it to be done to the little girl and give her no justice. Okay. So, and do you know what? The last live didn't save people. I don't know if I can get it back, by the way. So, yes. Yeah. So, anyway, that happened. I came back. I was shut down and ostracized by that entire family. They all closed ranks. They were hiding my daughter, like taking my daughter from me. These are people that, listen, best practice in terms of parenting and all of that is not it. You know what I mean? No emphasis on education, none of that. You understand? In certain parts of it, but not all of them. And the people that was complicit, actually definitely not in their zones, that were complicit in this trying to teeth my opinion. So I ended up having to take my own steps. And it culminated in me having to chat what had gone on. And my child was removed from them immediately, brought back into my care. How dare they? How dare they ask for Sabrina? How dare they do that to me and my child? How dare they do that to you before and your child before me? It's wrong. And enough, stop it, because they hide behind the church. They go on like they're the biggest church people in the world. And they go on with some nasty little practices. They're not nice. You understand me? And there's a lot more I could tell you. When I come to my story, it will come out. And no, we're not talking about my baby father, Viv Amor. He's a whole different ball game. Nothing to do with any of that. Yeah, his thing is special. It's very different. And that will come out in my story as well. People have been notified. And I will be reaching out to members of my family soon to give them a chance to really to have a final stab at reconciliation and, you know, I say atonement, that's the word. I was going to say repentance. Do you understand? But I mean atonement, because it's needed. We all should be doing that. You know, we should all be looking that before we actually go to the next step, which is what we're doing now, which is like we've done it, we've tried it, we've asked for compensation, if you like, you know, and it hasn't been given. So we get to the next step, which is that we take to the community, because actually that's the African way. I hope people realize that. You know, when you get the justice within the family, you take it to the chief. That's what you do, you know. And we are going to take it to the streets, brothers and sisters. We're definitely going to take it to the streets, 100%. Way, my phone is popping off right now. I can see messages coming in left, right, and center. They hate me. They hate us. They hate us, sister. But at the end of the day, you know what? Not afraid to talk up. Not afraid to talk up. That secrecy and that shame thing, like cover other people's shame when you're eating away inside and having to cover for these mad people, is just why. Tell me why we do this to ourselves, you know? You know? Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading some of the brothers and sisters. Don't worry, you're going to get on to talk in a minute. So yeah, in terms of the list, the list, you know, there shouldn't even be a list. There shouldn't even be a list. We should have broken this first generation rush. Those of us who were abused in that time heard the stories of what happened with Rat's older victims, because he's got all kind of age victims, you know. Look, sister speaking her truth in the chat. You understand me? Buzzers, I want Buzzer to come back on. Don't worry about that. Buzzer, you dirty man buzzer, who had the audacity to come on last week to try to pretend it wasn't you, just so that you could probably satisfy your poor daughters, who I feel sorry for, actually, because they want to clear their daddy's name. His name can't be sweetheart. He's absolutely right slap bang in the middle of it. Come and face me this week, and dare you try to confirm your innocence, because I've got a whole lot more to give you this, my friend. Yeah? You're dirty, man, you're unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you see, this is what it is. This is the pathology of the pedophile. Yeah? This is the kind of thing that he will do. She will do. Yeah? They will come in front. He came onto that live in the same way he probably stood up in front rooms of old and people's houses of old when their daughters had accused him and fronted it and said nothing a gossip. You piece of nastiness, you. Yeah? Allegedly. Alleged nastiness. What a piece of work, these people. No, I'm calling it out dirty and raw. I'm not even going to be articulate about it. Why should I? I'm very comfortable with my articulate skills, thank you. But these people don't deserve my education. Yeah, so I'm going to tell them about their what's not underneath, because that is as far as they are, that is as much as they deserve. Words. See the spirit, them knock over the thing. It's as much as they deserve. I say, wicked and nasty set of people, what they've done to my sisters and my little brothers. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But let me move now to the chief, the absolute chief of them all in our community. Yeah, dirty lurs not. Look, Panamana is grey and long. Yeah? Grey and long. Absolutely disgusting, all of them. And you see, you dirty Keith as well. You need to hide under a rock stone tonight. You can't even show your face. I hope lots of people know him. I know him as quite an obscure kind of looking guy, but that's just maybe my perception. I hope people know this guy, Keith Brown, who lives on Meredith Street, I believe it is. All right. You understand me? So yeah, if I've missed anybody, please DM me tonight. So much of them. Can't even do it all in one night. We'll be here all night. Unfreaking believable, man. Unbelievable. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. I'm so incensed. But you know what? You see me when I'm angry, that angry is an inward. It's not a corrosive anger. Yeah, that eats you from the, yeah, I've done that work already. I've gotten over that one. Do you understand? My anger is outward. My anger rallies me into battle. It rallies me into action. Yeah, when I get incensed that way, I'm passionate. It rallies me into action, and they ain't gonna know what's hit them. I'm not backing down. Yeah. The other day, I had some man, it sounded like, ring me on the phone. Yeah. I'm sorry, not on the phone, on the, what do you call this thing? Facebook Messenger, in the middle of the night, probably at 2-3 o'clock English time, with some serious talk. You know, and you know they don't talk long, those kind of people. They just 1 or 2 words, and you actually know them different from the rest of the pranksters or the phony wannabes. Yeah. Now, I ain't afraid of Rat and his cronies. I'm not afraid of those people at all. Like I say, you know, I know the God I serve, and I'm not afraid of the man called. I'm not afraid of the people that sent him. But it does make me pattern up differently, because then that means I'm dealing with a higher level echelons. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it was serious, actually. So it's going up there, and it's going up there for the reasons that I'm about to talk about. Right. So Ebony Children's Homes, right? Ebony Children's Homes. If I can really, the individual I was just talking about, namely my daughter's father, my last daughter's father, I have 3 and 1 son. And if I can really to them, now this individual is very well known to the family that I'm about to talk about. And the reason I'm going to call out this family is because why? You see the sins of the fathers. You see the sins of you see in the Bible, it tells you the sins and the fathers shall be visited even unto the 4th generation. It is so true. It is so true. What I'm about to tell you is a case in point of this thing, and it is totally linked in and tied in to the Rat saga. Totally linked in. Yeah? Now, my anger is a right anger, my sister. Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever. I don't know who these people are. Deal with them, my sisters, in the chat, will you? That was somebody legitimate. Yeah, anyway. So you see, I'm going to shut my effing mouth. Nah, that's what you people have relied on, for us to shut our effing mouths when these little girls were punched and kicked and waited for outside school, and all of these things that they were done to intimidate them, when Rat's own children would malign them in the community and help to do that. When mothers would, I don't know how to remove her, sister. I'll figure out for the next one, yeah? McKinsey, yeah, maybe they need to sit and hear this, yeah? Nah, we won't shut F up anymore. Not in Brixton, not in Ladbroke Grove, not East London, West London, North London, South London, Leeds, Manchester, Liverpool, Britain, Cardiff. No, we won't shut the F up anymore. Yeah? Loads of you would love us to shut our mouths, including those people I just, yeah? And I'm sure if I was in close proximity to that individual right now, he'd be threatening to punch me in my face as he used to like to. Only I'm a different kind of majority, so he couldn't really get away with that. And that's why these people hate me, Sabrina, because I let their son pump me up the way that he liked or wanted to. Yeah? The way that he tells lies about the situation to his people, and they automatically believe him because it suits their little family car. You understand me? Don't let me pop off in here tonight. I'm not in a nice mood. I'm not in a compromising mood. Yeah, I'm not in an articulate mood. I'm not in a reasonable mood tonight, because this thing is close to home. This thing is affecting every other sister that you meet, whether it's the domestic violence that we go on to experience after having been taken a pop at the age of 6 and 7 and 8 years old, and then we grow up and them come and take our next pop at us. Yeah, and then you lot have the cheek to cause angry black women. Brothers, fix up, man. This isn't you. This isn't who you actually are, innit? This is a sister that's come through the fight and still has love in my heart for Uno. Yeah, and I don't have to. I could be with them that can't get to that place because of all the darkness, and that hate you and have a right to hate you for the things that you've put your sisters and your mothers and your daughters and your nieces through. Yeah, it's enough now. Yeah, sex, magic, and abuse, that I go on. Enough of go on. You understand me? So, yeah. So this family now, I was told by an individual that the woman I'm about to tell you about was a really pioneering woman in the black community. She was to be admired, you know, and I'm into pioneering black women, especially older black women, the black community. I'm into that. You understand me? And so that person shared that with me, and I was like, wow, you know, I'd never heard of this person. Owned lots of care homes across London at the time, across the Brixton kind of Streatham type of areas, okay? So I think I even Googled and just, you know, had a bit of admiration myself, because it's an old school woman, Trinidadian woman, okay? But again, I assumed when the person said to me, care home, yeah, the person said to me, care home, I just assumed in my mind it was old people. Just went away with that thought, and that was it. That's what I thought. So in this stuff coming in now, there's been a whole lot of new information that has come in. And you know what's dread about this information? Yeah, it hasn't necessarily come from any victims. That's what it is. Yeah, because as I said, Lambeth is in the middle of a redress scheme at the moment. They're in the middle of a sort of truth and reconciliation system whereby they are acknowledging the abuse that took place in Lambeth Children's Homes, and they are paying out compensation. But hear what? They don't really want a compensation to the black children in Lambeth that were a victim of these things, and they certainly don't want to pay compensation to the children who were in children's homes that were owned by this woman that I'm about to tell you about, Mrs. Kagan. Mrs. Cadogan. For those of you that know her, she owned a load of children's homes, and I heard about her first, totally randomly, many, many years ago. And in this happening, don't ask me what it was in my spirit when I was talking to a certain person. I asked the question, was it a woman called Mrs. Cadogan on these children's homes? I was told, yes, it is. And then I've seen the evidence. Huh? Now, remember, I thought she owned old people. Why did I ask that question? Because the spirit is moving. The way the spirit is moving on this thing, every day, another piece of the puzzle dropping. Totally unrelated people. Totally unrelated people just dropping another part of the puzzle as if they were listening to the conversation I had the day before. It is mad what is taking place, my brothers and sisters. I can't even believe it myself, innit? Right? So this Mrs. Cadogan now, who I've heard about, who's one of her children is close to someone who's close to me, huh? Is the same Mrs. Cadogan who owned Ebony Care Homes, yeah? Where Vincent Rat and the pedophile source supply, who took backhanders from these people to allow them in, who used to ship her people in from Trinidad and wherever she wanted to ship her people them in and let them live inside the children's home, you know. Hold on a minute. Proper one for anybody that works social care or within them kind of realms and understands the magnitude of such a move. Yeah? Lambeth never even sent anybody, not once, in how many years this place was open, yeah, to check on this home and to do the normal kind of offset checks and balances and whatever that come later when the place got shut down. Yeah, the children operated the home. They worked in the home. They ran the home. You know, they slept girls in the home. They did all of these things. When the staff sleeping with the children and impregnating them, it was the woman picking them. One son in particular, Kevin Cadogan. You nasty, nasty, nasty piece of work, brethren. You nasty, nasty, nasty piece of work, brethren. You abused those girls alongside Rat, alongside certain other nasty man that used to visit the places. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is what this woman who was given BE or something like that, I believe, something along those lines. She was given a big accolade, right? She was given a big accolade, Mrs. Cadogan, Miss Veronica Cadogan. Huh? I thought she was amazing. Windrush mother, you know, was one of the biggest, richest families in South London. Her kids were set for life. Admired it. Not many of our mothers, our Windrush mothers, were able to achieve that. Yeah? She was stealing the children's allowances from Lambeth. That's what she was doing. Yeah, these children didn't get a penny. They were starved to the point where neighbors had to take them in. Yeah? They were starving the kids. Some of them, parents had passed on and left them inheritance like family gold and whatever, their teeth, everything from these little children, 8, 9 years old, however they were when they came into it. Understands me? Yeah? Now, like I said, this ain't coming from necessary victims. There are whistleblowers in Lambeth everywhere. And I've worked very heavily in Lambeth, okay? Everywhere in Lambeth. Not sure why we lost sound there, people, but I'm going to try and sort that out. Intimidate every single social worker that's ever worked in the system in the last 40 years. I want to see you lot do that, because this information, yeah, for all you doubters, comes straight from that source. I have viewed it. I've seen the file, my brothers and sisters, man. Do you know what? Let me calm down. Let me calm down. down. Because you see the legacy, my brothers and sisters, you see the legacy that has left behind. Yeah. What I'm about to tell you, I'm not telling you in a vengeful way. I'm not going to tell you this in a vengeful way at all, because you see the young brother there, my heart goes out to the brother. But this is a truth that can't stay closed. It can't stay closed. I'm reaching out to the victims of all of this, because Rat left behind a legacy. When I say that the apple did not fall far from the tree, yeah, I know what I'm saying. Yeah, he damaged whatever children, there's 80 of them apparently, but he damaged whatever children, yeah, he did. Yeah, whatever children it was, whether it was stepchildren or his own biological children, there was a certain cohort of children who he damaged, and he set about to do his work. There was girls, yeah, that were raped by certain people in the community, certain youth in the community that was set up to do that right across the board. Hundreds and hundreds of different testimonies I've had about this kind of thing. Yeah, the melting pot was another one of Veronica Kadag's places. She had a few of them, 100 Greyhound Lane. I think there was another up in Streatham, is it Elm Park or something like that? Yeah. The victims have been trying to get justice. They've been trying. The system is giving out justice to people, but not these victims, not Rat's victims, not Veronica Cadogan's victims, because she knew. She overly knew. Children were paid to keep quiet. She would groom certain children up into her echelons and make those children like work for her. You know, like how they used to in the plantation, when they would get the house Negroes to work against the slaves, be against them. This was a system in Ebony Care Homes. Yeah, Veronica Cadogan, Kevin Cadogan, yeah, and all those that go with you. It's a matter of public record, my brothers and sisters. Just go and Google it. If I lie, may I tell? This your time. Yeah? No one can even claim that one this time. Matter of public record. Ebony Care Home was closed down in I think around 2015. Need to get my facts down. Yeah? Round about that time, around 2015, because Ofsted found it to be wanting, and all of this came report, which is going to be available for public viewing at the end of the month. Yeah, everything that went on in the care homes in Lambeth, Ebony Care Homes being one of them. But something more significant was going on, because Rat had a line up into Ebony Care. Yeah, that's what he did. Everyone was getting paid. Everyone's on the payroll. A line up in there. Children were being given cocaine as young as 10, 11, 13 years old. Yeah, he had a line up into the care home and into the mother and baby units, where his young rape victims were busy having his babies, 12 and 13 years old, 14 years old. Yeah. Some of Unu in the Brixton community know a very well-known family. You know that story. Yeah. And I've reached out to that little sister, but she hasn't got back. Yeah. I'll say that in case this man thinks that he wants to come and intimidate her as well. But it's a very well-known family to anybody that is an old school Brixtonian. Yeah. Summer Leighton. Yeah. The brothers have nicknames that are connected to money, old money. Yeah. Old money. The brothers in that family. That family I'm talking about. You know, I'm talking about Brixton people. Yeah. It is not a secret that Rat, when that little girl's mum was in jail, raped her and gave her a baby, and that child thrives to this. All of these things that Brixton wants to cover up, yeah, that has affected the rest of us. Yeah, all of this complicity, all of this shame and this historic generational curse. It's got to stop, man. Yeah, it is too much. I know it is too much. But guess what? It will carry on being too much to seek, too much to bear, too much to share, and it will go on in generation. And that's why I'm busting this bubble. I'm busting it for the victims of bequest, and I'm busting it because I believe deep in my heart that's what I should be doing. Yeah. But what went on in Ebony Care Homes was atrocities with these children, generations of children. It was there for a long time, this Ebony Care Home thing. Yeah. I can't even believe it. The same Mrs. Kagan that I actually thought, oh, you know, when I read about this woman, never met her, never ever met her. As I said, I've only met her youngest son, and he knows who he is. I'm not going to say his name. Man's been through enough. The sins of the fathers, you know. Tell you what happened to the Kagan family. In fact, before I go there, I'm going to talk about them after. Let me tell you what's really going on. So Rat had a lineup in there. Now, when his stepson, who you all know, yeah, Q, was doing his badness and whatever else. And now remember, I'm reading this in leaked files, yeah? This ain't no testimony from no disgruntled nobody that want to bring nobody down. This is proper whistleblowers. You understand me? This is what I'm reading. And I'm calling it out because I want to appeal to my brother. Yeah, my young brother, who I'm not really, everyone's going on about this videos that the young brother Q, Vincent Rat's stepson Q, has been putting out. I've seen a glimpse of the one that was going around from YouTube that went out on the back of my thing about Rat, yeah? But I've never sat down and watched it fully. It's been just so much other information to look at, right? So I do remember seeing a glimpse of it, yeah? I do remember seeing a glimpse of it, but I have never watched it fully, so I've not really got into the content of that. What I do remember, what struck me when I saw that your brother there was his eyes. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, you're Rat's stepson. You know, he just looked, you know, haunted to me. Maybe not everybody sees that, but, you know, I'm a person that deals with that kind of thing. So I see behind the eyes, I see behind the eyes. And I saw that, I picked up that energy from him and instantly had an empathy with this brother. Yeah, no, nothing, I've never even heard of him prior to that. But actually, I realized now through another key bringing me back that I actually, you see how 6 degrees of separation work though? It's so dread because I actually, many years ago, running groups in Feltham and Rochester and whatever, I passed him on the wing, but he weren't in my group, the young G there. But I'm really convinced after reading what I've read today and yesterday that I could be wrong, yeah? And if it isn't Rat himself, then my hunch says, as I say, nothing is absolute in it, but my hunch says that that brother's been through some things. Because the things that he went on to do in Ebony Care Homes, in children's homes that he was in, was absolutely atrocious. When he was in jail, young offenders, whatever, yeah? And I believe that's courtesy of his old man, yeah? So I'm saying brother's really changed his life, and he isn't part of that nasty Rat's legacy, yeah? Then come to the throne of mercy, my brother, yeah? Because God does forgive. He forgives if true heart you are sorry, and I recognize you as a victim. But first and foremost, you know, yeah, I know your victims, your own victims will be out there, brother. Yeah, your own victims will be out there, but they might not want to hear me call you a victim yourself. But I truly believe that you are. I truly believe that you are, and I've been told by I won't say so many people, by the key people that I have shared this information before this live, key people that hold confidentiality in my space, you know, that are surrounding this campaign. When I've told them, every single one of them have vehemently warned me against it. Why? Because they say this brother is more dangerous than his father and that he will go around duppying people. I beg you not to do that, my brother, because this ain't come from you like that. They're still too afraid to speak. Clearly, you know, I've heard other things about the 28s and their gapping activities from random people that DM me with fake profiles, but I haven't called it out. I haven't gone into any details with that because it is supported. Do you understand me, my sister? It isn't supported at all. So, wow, man, just wow, my brother. Come to the throne of mercy. I feel you. I ain't calling you out in your dad's ilk, you know. But things you used to go on with in care cannot be able to continue, my brother. Yeah, you cannot be the apple that falls from your tree. You understand me? And I believe that you went through things yourself. I believe that you see the ilk of man that don't talk. That's the MO they carry. Tough as nails. arduousness. Our brothers are suffering, man. Even with the rise in the effeminization of the black man, there's a reason for it. Because too many of our little young brothers are getting ripped off as well in that way, are being sodomized in this way. You understand? Just like the sisters have to go. Too many of them, man. And it's happening with the youngers who are in the prison system and in the estates doing their badness. This is their new form of expression. Anger. This is their new way of expressing what they've been through. Yeah? We have to hold those brothers. We can't really condemn in the same way as we would their fathers and their grandfathers, who are the reason. It's for those brothers to come to the throne of mercy. That's what I'm saying, innit? Yeah, because they are the second generation that reaped it. They get a little bit of mercy. Yeah, and yes, the professionals of hell of a. You see all these people in Brixton that was claiming to be workers and social workers and all these different people, workers, care workers in these children's homes. Oh no, hell, I go hot. You lot will be occupying the lower pit of hell along with Rat, and you'll have your little party down there. That's what's going on. We will find all your names because the victims are remembering with things like that. When it comes on to the stepson now, yeah, the generational trauma that obviously played itself back out in these children. The little girls that won't speak, even though they knew they were 12 and 13 when they were bearing children for this man. Yeah, they won't speak because the families are and tied up. Yeah, nobody wants to speak. Nobody wants to speak up. You don't want to offend your baby father. You don't want to offend your mum. You don't want to offend your auntie or your this or your that. It's got to stop. Because it was the mindset like that who went, and some of them didn't even have qualifications, actually. They were mates that were brought in from the Caribbean with no papers to come and work with these children, but it wasn't work. They were living and ending off and smoking weed and giving the children drugs, and who wasn't having sex with the children and breeding them was having sex with their own man in the place and they were doing what? I mean, my God, the place sounds like absolute hell on earth for a child. Now, this is where the local authority, Lambeth, has removed children for into protective care, apparently, and put them in this situation. Aided and abetted and totally complicit by a woman that was driven by absolute greed and money. Her estate was worth 4.9 million when she died. And do you know how she died? Do you know what happened with that family? I know the story of how they died before I know the story of this. And I kept thinking, I even said to my baby father, oh, them so sad. The people them just so sort like this. First, it was like, oh my God, that's terrible. When the first one went, the dad in Guyana, murdered over there in a horrific way. I thought, oh, that's terrible. Then the mum goes quick after that. I don't know the big circumstances around her death. Then the daughter-in-law, who was the girlfriend of one of the sons, hung herself. Then I started to say, no. What's going on here? Hung herself. And I've learned that she too was an Ebony Care Homes service user in her time. Boomed up from there into being this guy's woman. Hung herself. Oh, well, I wonder why. He then, not long afterwards, hung himself. That's the legacy Mrs. Kagan left behind. Can you imagine that? Yeah? That guy is getting murdered over in the Caribbean. Yeah? The mum just and whatever, with her picking them in turmoil, fighting over the spoils of the thing. And then the daughter-in-law or whatever, the son's girlfriend hangs herself, and the man goes back and hangs himself right behind his missus. That's the legacy. That's what kind of looks like. That's what the sins of the fathers look like. And I feel sorry that some of the people left behind with that, because I know one of them personally through my link, and I feel sorry for the man. But I'm very sorry, the sins of the fathers and all that. Sins of the fathers. I will stand here. Yeah, the Elm House, absolutely. All of it was connected, my brothers and sisters. They're giving me dodgy phone calls in the middle of the night now. It's gone past Vincent and his little roadman them. Gone past that with me. but I ain't shutting up. And I ain't shutting up because the people want me to speak. Yeah. I ain't shutting up. As I said to boy them this week. Yeah. Or was it last week, actually? It was early this week. Yeah. I ain't shutting up as well because when I'm getting calls one, yeah, I'm going to stay as loud and as visible for as long as I possibly can. And I'm going to up my life insurance. I ain't shutting up. Yeah, for them to come pop me off over here, you must be crazy. I ain't showing up. Seeing it happen. What about this brother's name that first tried to bring this scandal out with the Lambeth Children's Homes? Yeah. Let me remember his name. Something Forsyth. The name something Forsyth. I can't remember his first name right now, but he's a matter of record as well. Yeah. If anyone knows his name, fling it up in the chat for me. I can't. It's flown my mind. Right. He was murdered in 1993 for wanting to open this scandal. Yeah, they murdered him. Very strange disappearance or very strange death that he had. It was just unexplained, you know? So that's what happened in the Lambeth Children's Home. Check it out. Yeah, Streatham M16. There was definitely Streatham, 100 Greyhound Lane. There was another one in Brixton Hill, I think, and one down in Brixton as well. There was a flat in Stockwell Estate that was a very well-known place where these girls used to go. Even I, heard these things that you should never go down in that place because you would you raped. That was a place where rapers were. There were huts all over the place. Yeah. Listen, my brothers and sisters, the Lord does cover me. I've got on my white today because I've been in prayer and fasting for a good while. When you saw me off camera around my birthday and whatever, these are the things that I would do, because it is definitely a spiritual fight first. It always. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I will put them. Thank you. Somebody's just asked me to do that. Don't worry yourself, man. Don't worry yourself. We know what time it is, and we're living in a time of increased. We're living in a time of. Can I do that can I put on my VPN thing while I'm still on the call? Will it cut it? Somebody just told me to do. I've been being told to do that, but I keep forgetting, to be fair. I've got a VPN, but I just forget to put it on, really. And to be honest with you, you know what, my sister, I will do it because I do believe that we should take precautions in the fitness. But my fight is my God. My God is in the spiritual. It ain't in the flesh. It ain't in the flesh. And let me tell you something, for nothing, these people don't work in the flesh either. They work in the spirit. So you better know what you're doing when you take them on, innit? Bulick Forsyth, that's it. Bulick Forsyth. Yeah, you better know how to serve at the throne of God when you take on these dark, sorcerous people. Bulick Forsyth's right. They killed him. The higher echelons, whoever it was, they murdered. I think that sometimes they used to use roadman like Rat to actually do their dirty biddings. That's what I believe. Yeah, I'm gonna ton out your mothers underneath tonight, you set of people. Old maidens, that's right, Illuminati. Fire upon Uno. We call upon the most high living spirit of the living God. We call upon E and the alone. You understand what I'm saying? Dopino to frighten tonight. You think I'm frightened? I'm not scared. I'm not scared of these people. Yes, my brothers and sisters. Fire upon them tonight. Do you understand me? Oh, my sister. Oh, Sean set up a GoFundMe. Now, you know what? Before I go on anyway, because I don't want to be too flippant about what I was saying about Q, I do want to go back to that and really hammer that down in a compassionate way. And I'm urging to be compassionate about it. I'm not calling out the details, full detail of what I've read. Why? Because I see that individual as a victim. That's what it is. If I didn't, I would dust him up tonight, just like his father, his stepfather. I really, really would. Because what I've read, and heard in terms of whistleblower that I spoke to and who provided me with that information, with that documentation. As I said, a lot of it cannot be ignored because it just can't be, and it is absolutely key into the pedophile ring that was operating across Brixton and right throughout Ebony Care Homes. Mrs. Kagan, If anyone knows her, please let me know. I just can't even believe it. This woman was supposed to be the epitome of all our mothers could have and should have achieved, you know, in that Windrush space. When really she was a madame posing, a madame posing as an owner of a children's home, protector of children. Some of those workers who were abusing the children in there, beating them, sexually abusing them, and all the rest of it, some of those workers have gone on to become foster carers now. I need their names. I need their names so we can shut them down and keep these children safe. There's no way it's going to happen. Thank you, my sister at Evolution SP. You've done every moment, Prime Minister. I love you. Thank you, my sister. Thank you. Because, you know, the money thing is a very, very sore subject for me. You know, I'm one of them people, when I see people doing things or calling out things or trying to do campaigns and they go for GoFundMe, I switch off. I'm like, oh, they ain't sincere. So when people were saying to me, you've got to do a GoFundMe, put up a cash app. What's that? I've heard of it, but I didn't actually know how it worked and what it was and what it represented or whatever. But I'm there now. Yeah, it does cost a lot of money for internet over here, actually. Nearly 1 year in. I've been doing this nearly 10 months now. It does cost a lot of money for that. It is a full-time job. It does are broadening that out. We are looking to have a demonstration and bring it to the streets. We are looking to hold a public inquiry or demand one. All of these things, money, legal representations, this, that, this. We're not going to leave this at some willy-nilly little call out on social media. This is going to get brought all the way. And let me tell you something. If they get to me and kill me for it, yeah, somebody said Q speaks openly about some of his trauma. Okay, well, I need to check him out then. I need to check brother out. Well, I'm happy he does. Well, I believe that it was at the hands of that monster, is his stepfather, that made him have to go on to perpetrate and do the things that he's done. You understand me? Awful, 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 awful. So yeah, if he is doing that, DM me, my brother, if serious about that, or go and seek that somewhere else. There might be a conflict of interest if you DM, you know? But I will say that my heart is here for you. It really, really is. You know, let it go. It doesn't belong to you. Whatever you did, Quincy, because what you did is terrible, brother. It's just terrible, man. It's just terrible. You know, the things that I saw described, the things that I read and the impact that it had on the victims, brother. Let it go. It weren't yours in the first place. It didn't belong to you. It belonged to your dirty stepfather, Rat. And your mother should have never kept him in the house. And apparently, you know, I've not seen it. I'm going to go in and watch it. But I've been told on good source, speak about that in the video. You talk about when you were left there by him. For what reason? So you could be groomed to do his dirty work. You were groomed, my brother. You were groomed. Don't get angry with nobody for speaking out, my brother. Don't get angry with me. If you want to be angry with me, come here, come shoot me, try. Because as I said, I'm protected by the most high living God. A couple more names I see going up in the chats that I will get to them. 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 They're going to have to, there's certain individuals that I need to speak to before I call out certain other people. As I say, I'm not just doing that willy-nilly. I could let off on one of my daughter's dad's family here today, but it was relevant to the subject matter, to the call out, something that's affected me because of the complicity in that family. They are at the epitome of what I'm talking about when I talk about families draw rank around these victims, these female victims of their families, and just demolishing them, you know, till these girls grow up, pathologized and demonized and go out into the community and end up just acting back out the abuse. And then man look and say, I look on her, she's loose, she's this, she's that. And men can abuse back the little child again from 14, 15 years old, grow up into this damaged sister. It ain't fair. And it should not be. We're supposed to protect them. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Yes, I do know members of the Kagan family, personally, my sister. Yes, I do. So Yeah, I'm just reading off some of the things. So yes, in relation to the brother there, I forgot what I was going to say before that. Remind me, somebody. But in relation to the brother there, Brother Quincy, I feel sorry for the brother, man, and anyone else that came from that person's loins, from Rat's loins. I feel sorry for all of them, all the 80 children, whether we ex them or not, whether they were legitimately conceived or not. I feel sorry for the lot of them. I really do. Even those that done bidding, even those that were groomed to do man's bidding. You can't take a from the cradle to the grave and expect them not to act out. Yeah, you really, really can't. But you see, when it comes to the Kagan family now, I can't say it's all of the Kagan family, can I? I can say it was the mother. I can say that the father obviously been complicit and lived off the spoils of it. I can say that it was the brother that lived off the spoils of it. Yeah, and I can say that the sister, I think her name is Tara or something along that line. Correct me, it begins with a T anyway. I can say she lived off the spoils of it, but there were others I cannot say that about. I can tell you what I know, what I read. I can tell you who those people were that were working at that place, from that family. You understand me? Because of that leaked document. That I can tell you. And I'm saying that we're not having any. I don't care who you are. Like I said, if my own son, I got one son to my name. If I hear anything like that and it is verified against him, you lot wouldn't even see what happened on the live, to be fair. Yeah, because it would be too vicious. No weapon performance shall prosper. Yeah, but you know what? I'm feeling like I should bring on a few people to speak now. I think that's what I should. Hold on. Coming on, let's see if it works. It's always a bit glitchy, isn't it? Is it going to work? We're going to be able to join. Yeah, I've been calling, but he ain't in the chats. Or maybe he is, I don't know. Yeah, Buzzer needs to come in. That's what he needs to do. Buzzer needs to come right. But he's not, is he? Because he was big and bold when he thought that he could get away with it. He was big and bold when he thought he could get away with it, and maybe, you know, there was doubt. Hold on, we've got somebody here. I think there's a delay. Okay, blessed love, I can't see you. Brother or sister, blessed love.
She wants your Jennifer to look at.
Sorry? Blessed love, blessed love. You're going to have to give me some time. There might be a bit of a delay on the line and I might not be able to hear you straight away. So if you keep talking, please. Okay, that person's gone. Maybe it's the internet. Try and rejoin if that wasn't you that dropped yourself out, please. Let me see who else is there. Okay. Right, I'll try and join someone else. Yeah, so I was going to basically say before this joins that my sister Essie literally must have just now. Right, we'll get into that in a minute. Blessed love, my sister. Blessed love, sis. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, sis? I don't know if anyone else can hear the caller, but I can't hear them. Yeah, I don't know what's happening there actually. Is it sabotage as you people? Hold on. Oh dear. Okay. So yes, my people, that is the beginning really of the His Time Is Up campaign. It wasn't called that at that time. it was a raw response to the pain and the suffering that was coming at me from victims after victims after victims. And I was very open at that time. As I said, it was lockdown. I was in Africa. I was as pure and as clean as I can be in mind, body, and spirit. And I was soaking it up, you know. I was sleepless nights crying over what I was hearing coming out of our community, because even at my level where I'd dealt with the dross and the dirty work in our community, it just hit me on a different level, the level, because we dealt with knife crime, we dealt with the feral children, we dealt with them and the product of them being in care and being abused and all that type of stuff. We dealt with the product of it, but we'd never ever scratched the surface at that point of the root of it. And I'd always contended in certain spaces along the way that we need to get back to the root of things in order to heal what is going on going forward. And this really did that. I felt that it would do that. But let me tell you, that was July 2021. As I said, I'd been doing that for 10 months, and it was largely about Rat and one or two other people, mostly the Brixton set. And they were all feeding back into each other at that point, you know? And then anyone who sat on the journey will tell you, right up until the present moment, the vitriol that we faced in the aftermath of those exposures and how big it was. And I have no doubt in my mind that the powers that be are complicit in that vitriol. They will use whatever they can in terms of adjunct provocateurs in any which way and send them for you in your own community. This is what they do to shut you down. You understand me? So we were revealing a lot of high profile stuff back then. We really, really were. And the talk is that I could not come back into the country. You know, I don't want Brixton to forget that, because they've gone back to sleep. How is it that the guy that caused all of that, who I'm talking about in this video, who was linked in to Veronica Cadogan, who was then linked in to our present guy, Colin Moore, because he worked at those care homes. That is what I want you guys to really bear in mind, that retrospectively, I'm talking about this, not understanding that we'd sit here today dealing with one of the man that I was talking about back then. It's profound. But it's come to roost. The chickens are coming home to roost. And this is the thing. If they think they are safe, if Rat, because he's comfortable now, 4 years on, 2020, November, it will be 4 years in November when I first called Rat out. And that's what started the whole snowball effect. Now, be 4 years. So he's comfortable now. He thinks that he can just climb out of the woodwork and take his place back in the community in whichever way he tried to reinvent himself from the demon that he was into some kind of community activist. It's unreal. It's unreal. I'm going to read to you guys. When we were doing the first march, I was reaching out to a lot of organizations and so on and so forth. And many people didn't want to come near us because of the threats. The death threats were real back then. I was told I could not come back into the country. You understand? I was told I could not come back into the country. Don't you even think about it. You will be head topped the minute you step back in. When we did the first march, everybody thought that I was going to be joining the march via a satellite big screen. I don't know why everyone bought into that diversion, because it had to be a diversion. I needed to come back to organize the march, help to organize it. I had people on the ground over here that were in it, and one of those people was definitely my sister Serlene from Britain's Got Reggae. She was definitely one of the people in the know. Big up Mega Man, people like him, they knew, you know, and others, that I was back in the country. And I was actually pretty much hiding out at a friend's house in the Kent Hills, me and baby Afua. Yeah, it was crazy. It was a bit like I used to drive down into South London at night to you know, give out flyers and whatever in a disguise and do what I was doing by night. This is how it was when I first got back from Tanzania, in this atmosphere of what had been created in Tanzania. It was absolutely insane. In fact, let me show a little bit of that march, because it was insane. The whole time was insane, you know. And when I did land, and the way that I landed, because nobody expected me to land, and the way that the women took back their power and their space in that moment, I don't know why Brixton's gone back to sleep. This is what we do. This is cognitive dissonance. This is what happens. This is what happens, you know? So I'm going to show a little bit of that actually before I read what it was I was doing in terms of trying to educate. I mean, this kind of release, what I'm about to read to you, was sent to MPs and all sorts of people. And we had actually audience at the time with all of Lambeth MPs. There were 3 women. I can't remember their bloody names, Belle, what's her name, and whatever. But to me, I just was looking at some robots. What can you do to assist us in this campaign? Well, they couldn't do anything. They promised that they were going to consider things and get back to us, and we never heard from them since, to this day. To this day. You know, I should retell the whole Vincent Rat episode, because it was a hell of a journey, and the way that the powers that be were complicit all of a sudden with the people on the road around us was crazy. It was crazy. The type of intel that was coming at us was crazy. You know, the links to Whitehall and yeah. The untold story of the Brixton pedophile ring. Black on black pedophile ring. The untold story. Honestly. But yeah, let me try and find the actual first march for those of you that haven't seen it. It's so far back on the Instagram page, and I don't really have it up here. I don't know if it's on YouTube actually. It might have come down. Let's just revisit it anyway. Like somebody said, we have to shore up the roots and the foundation, you know? Far away from this. I think Jay said it's a slow computer, but he's working with it. Me and you both, brother. Oh, do you know what? Seeing as we're sharing tonight, how lovely is this thing? I've just seen it on my Instagram. This was when we were in Tanzania. I just want to share it because it's so beautiful. It was such a moment. Me and my girls were in the hair shop. We were in the hairdressers, and I think it was my middle one. It was Blue that was getting her hair braided, I think. And I'm in there with Blue and baby Afua, just in this hairdressing shop. And this brother walks in, and let me tell you, it was such a touching moment. The fact that I'm going to just show it to you. He walks in and he just does his thing. This random guy just comes in off the street and just enters the shop. You know, I'm in Africa and this happens, and I'm just like, rah. The spirit sent him. And at that time, all of this stuff, you can't come back into the country, we're going to kill you, this, that, was going on. And then we're in this head shop and this happens. Let me share that. I just actually forgot about it.
Come you, what you can do. Yahweh, how made you, what you can do.
And the spirit said in today,
my beauty, Maya, taking away our faith. taking away something, making us so beautiful. My beautifier, taking away something, taking away something. Maybe just like you. Why shall I render to Jehovah? For he has done so very much for me. Why shall I render to Jehovah? For he has done so very much for me.
Hallelujah.
What shall I render to Jehovah? For he has done so very much for me. Come and do what you can do.
Just such a poignant time for me, honestly, because I was at a kind of crossroads with it after nearly a year in at that point. And I was in prayer and fasting, and I was like, what shall I do next? Am I going to just drop this? I'm in a safe place now. Do I take it forward? Do I come there and actually really push this thing? And I was praying for confirmation, and I'm in this hairdresser's, and this guy turns in. What shall I render to Jehovah? Because he has done so very much for me. I don't think people understand how deep it is for me. I get angry when people say I'm clout chasing and I'm doing. I don't think people understand how deep it is for me, was for me, you know, at that time. And then he comes in, and the question is that, what shall I render? And I rendered my safety, I rendered my freedom, I rendered everything, because it was a calling and it needed to be done. And Jehovah was calling me. That's how it was at that time. Even when I done the first call out, when I done that video, didn't know how to use social media. On the live that I was showing before, you can see where I'm saying to people, how do I do this bit? And no, I can't actually take them off. I don't know how. I did not know how to use social media. So all these little hurry come ups that jump on 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line chatting was, they don't understand the journey. They don't know it. They don't see it. They don't see the raw emotion and the nerves that were touched at that time, that propelled it to where it is now, and all the other stuff we've taken on board since then. You know, they don't know the foundation. It's important. And I didn't really set out to really talk about foundation tonight. I wanted to make the connection with Colin Moore and those Veronica Kagan, Ebony Care Homes, such as Melting Pot and the others that she had, you know. And we do make that point, but in that journey, all these other things have come back to mind, and they need to be reinforced, you know. So that's why we're kind of doing this, and I'm enjoying it. I love that guy, though. What a different kind of beatbox that was. This man was just, I just feel that he was from another realm, and he just disappeared as quick as he appeared. You know, it was, I don't know why he did it. It didn't look like he wanted money. He was busking or anything. He just appeared, walked into the shop, started all of that that you've just seen, and then bid everybody farewell and went out. The man just wanted to just drop the spirit. It was amazing at the time. It was amazing at the time. So anyway, do you know what? I've got these other things lined up and I'm looking at them. I've gone that far back in the Instagram. I'm going to actually show, because Brixton, you should not forget. You should not allow this man in your spaces. Get the courage. Get the courage to run him out of town. This Colin Moore was allowed to thrive. Yeah? Nasty guy. He abused his partner's child from the age of 14 years old. And I'm really hoping that sister will be able to, now, especially now that he's convicted, find the strength, the time, the clearness of mind, because it takes all of those things to come on and tell us her story, because it deserves to be told. I mean, what a and if I'm even allowed to say that word anymore. I just don't understand any of it. I really don't. But yeah, let's look at the first impact of where it started. If I can find it, that is. It's been a journey. I don't often scroll back on the Instagram, but as I say, in trying to find other stuff, I've come across the original stuff that actually hasn't really made it to YouTube, you know, and I don't think many people have the patience to scroll all the way back on that bloody Instagram, because it's a whole heap of things. Whole heap of things. Yeah, this was a time. Nice time, man. But if you've got the peace of mind to just sit down, yeah, he did, Judge JAJ. He delivered the message to me. He really did. That's what you're going to do. And before I did that, you know, when I received the information that shook me to the core, because it was so close to home, I didn't realize this person had been through that, you know. I didn't realize they'd been through that. I didn't know what to do with that information. It just knocked me for six. I'd heard about this guy, everybody had, you know, but it's distant, isn't it? When I realized that it was someone close to me that had actually experienced and been one of those victims in that way at the age of 12 years old, I just couldn't stay quiet. And I was so far away. I didn't know what to do. And it was my youngest daughter, I've said it loads of times, who said, Mum, put up a video. You know, I was only kind of involved in WhatsApp groups. I didn't use Facebook. I hadn't really set up the Facebook in the first place. My older daughter did it. And as for the Instagram, the one that was with me, the middle one, she had set that up, and I had one picture on it. I'll show you that picture in a minute. And then you can see the dates where that picture sits there for a good few years. And then there's the Vincent Rat video all of a sudden. And then there's loads of videos ever since. Because I didn't use the thing. It was like about 88 friends and family, something like that on it. And I put up one picture because when my daughter set it up, she told me to showed me this, upload this, which I forgot by the time we got to the Vincent Rat story. And that's what it was. But let me play the original. For those of you that might not have seen it, I'm sure everybody has it. It just went triple viral. I never expected that. I didn't even know how to manage that. It was all organic. I learned along the way how to manage that. And I'm not sure I've managed it well, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? As I keep saying, I'm not a content creator. I'm going to show you two videos, actually. The original video and then the video in the aftermath of when it's gone triple viral, like a few days later. And I'm realizing, damn, but I'm still holding my ground. It's two different videos. But the first one, you will see that I'm in a beach setting. And that's where I was. I'd gone the next morning after hearing what I'd heard the night before to pray and meditate and think, what shall I do? Do I take my daughter's advice and do this video? How do I do this video? It's a bit weird. Do you know what I mean? Never done a video like that. And I ended up bumping into this brother. I'd never met him before, but he was from England. And of course, when you're in those situations, you meet someone from your hometown, you're like, you know what I mean? And we started chatting until it was almost sunset. It's kind of bleaky, this scene, when it had been really sunny that day, because the sun is going down, and that's how long I'd been at the beach. And it was really weird because after all that prayer and meditation for the whole day, then I'm chatting to this brother for God knows how long, forgotten my mission of why I'm there, because I'm just getting into this conversation, a great conversation. And in the middle of this conversation, even he thought, what is wrong with this woman? I just went to him, hold on a minute, and jumped up and took my phone and shot the video, and then came and sat back down. So he was out of shot, listening to all of this after me and him chatting. He doesn't know me from nowhere. And I sat back down and he went, whoa, well, whoever that is, I feel sorry for him. And I just said, I started to tell him the story. And that was, you know, until it fell into darkness, and then he went about his business, and so did I. And that's what happened that day. So what you see is almost like I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about it. I'd been distracted from it. I stopped thinking about it that day. And suddenly I was just propelled. It was a weird experience. A weird experience. And then what happened after that was even weirder. And you will see in the second video when I show it, it's evening time, but I'm kind of shell-shocked. I don't even know what to say. You know what I mean? So let me just show you guys. This is where it all started. Right, so I'm making this video because I really feel compelled to have to do it. I'm not usually one for making videos or putting things up on social media to any great extent, you know, not really my thing. But this one, I want it to go viral. I want this video to go worldwide. I want everybody to see it. But particularly, I want people in the community of Brixton of a certain age. Anybody who's over the age of 40 will remember this person that I'm about to tell you about. Anyone, yeah? If you lived in the Brixton area and you're over the age of 35, 40, you will remember this individual. I'm going to tell you about a persistent, prolific predator that is a scourge in our community. I'm going to tell you about a predator that is such a bad man that nobody would ever challenge this individual. This individual that enjoyed going around killing people, enjoyed going around raping young girls. We are talking about an individual that has impregnated and systematically raped a whole generation of black women in Brixton and South London area and probably beyond. We're talking about an individual that was literally like the Debo. Remember Debo from Friday? He was literally the Debo of the black community in South London at that time. This individual is a disgusting individual. This is the season for calling out nonces and pedophiles. Okay? Now this individual has had a reign of terror that spans probably about 30 or 40 years. This is an old man now, he's in his 60s, maybe even 70. He's still at it. I heard news today that he's got another 14-year-old girl pregnant. I spoke to my daughter's godmother last night. She told me that yes, she too was raped by this individual at 12 years old. Yeah? The individual that I'm talking about is none other, if you haven't guessed it already and you're from Brixton, who used to walk and terrorize Brixton? Whose daughters wasn't safe in Brixton in the day? You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about none other than Vincent Rat. Vincent Rat, pedophile Vincent Rat, impregnating young girls in the 1980s, come right up even beyond that. That's who I'm talking about. Okay, Cecil Rubin's niece Nadine, you lot know her. She walks up and down Brixton like a crazy person. Former client, yeah, I know this girl. She disclosed to me that he raped her in her uncle's shop back in the day. You all know the shop, Cecil Rubin, Hootanani, and I know the shop. Cecil, if you knew, you're complicit. Whoever knew about it was complicit. Whoever knows about all the other girls and the 15 children, if not more, who are now in their 20s or their 30s, who were sired as the victim of rape when their 12-year-old and their 13-year-old and their 14-year-old mothers were raped by this monster in our community. The Jimmy Savile, the what's this guy's name? Weinstein of our community. He is the Jimmy Savile and the Jeffrey Epstein and the Harvey Weinstein of our community. Vincent Dirty Blood Clot Rat. You're a pedophile. You're a perpetrator. Yeah, you even try and look me when I was about 50 at a park event when you used to have rat security, but I never pay you no mind, ran away from you and your friend in your car. So I know you're about it. Yeah, and now I'm hearing so much coming out, but people are still too afraid to talk. The man them that would never challenge you, the daughters of the brothers that you raped who would never challenge you because we're too scared of you. They said that you had good up here. They said you worked in Lawrence. They said you was a police snitch. Nobody would challenge you, Vincent Rat. But me here today, from my location, I'm challenging you. You are a dirty pedophile, Vincent Rat. And whoever wants to support him, why are you up in the Nation of Islam? Talk to me, brother Abdul Karim. Talk to me, Freddie Daly, because you must know who this guy is. Brother Hillary, Abdul Karim, you lot are Brixtonians. Brother Wayne, you're Brixtonians. Why is Vincent Rat allowed in the mosque? This is why I stopped working with you when I saw this rapist, this scourge in our community. Rape a whole generation of sisters. Got children all over the place, probably even procreating with each other, having disabled children. We don't know. He's prolific. Must be hundreds. And I'm saying today, DM me, sisters, if you want to do something about it, because there is no upper limit in it being able to take sexual abuse historic cases to court. There is no upper limit. If it's 50 years, we can still have him. DM me if you suffered under Vincent Rat. Back in the day, in the Brixton era, when Ratty was a bad man, because he ain't a bad man now, he's an old man. Yeah? Stand up. And all you brothers that never spoke out, all of you that never spoke out, you are all complicit. You are all complicit. Check yourselves. You've got children now. I know everybody was scared. I know this man terrorized the community. How do these little girls feel that every day they're in the playground, yeah, having to deal with this man, hearing how many people he's killed and whatever, knowing he's raped them and they can't say nothing? There's so many victims. Vincent, dirty, blood clot, rat. Yeah, you are vermin. And we're calling you out today. I want this video to go viral. Talk about the round bed that you had in the bottom of your shop or the yard at Paulette Road. The round bed with the mirrors on the ceiling. Yeah, the victims have spoken to me. They've spoken to me. Yeah? And I'm telling you, more is going to come out. I am not resting until I have your head on a platter. Vincent, dirty, blood clot, rat. Yeah, I said it. Afua Rose, Afua Chibuese. I said it. Yeah? You are a scourge in our community, and I will not rest until your head is on a platter. You're bright about your working in the black community to do things better and work with the youths and the gangs and give money to nation and them. God, pay your victims. Pay your victims. Some of them are crackers on the road. Some of them have committed suicide. Some of them are mentally ill because of you, Vincent, dirty, blood clot rat. Know what it meant, make it go viral. My daughter said, if you make that video, make sure you say I want it to go viral. And it actually went viral in WhatsApp first, and then she said upload it on this platform here. And actually I forgot that she was the one that had uploaded these previous videos of me on my gram when I was in Forever Family. Yeah, but me, I didn't know how to do that until that day when we had to start managing all of this. It was crazy, 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 crazy time. Crazy time. I'm going to try and find the video of oh, actually there's the video of me, the thing of me, and you will see that this is in 18 is when my daughter first set this thing up, and I've put this thing up here. My 8-year-old child, but baby Afua was 8, told me I looked old in the car today. I had to ask my teenage daughter to take a pic just to remind myself it ain't too bad this close to 50. Yikes. Well, there's been a lot of agencies between 48 and 50 and 55 this year, actually. It does accelerate at a certain age, doesn't it, just? But yeah, that's me. at that age, and that's all I'd put up, and that's 2018. You don't see anything again until 2020 into the Forever Family Zone, because that's all it was. So moving forward now to the Vincent Rat thing. Let me show the second one. So this is like, if this was 20 November, I can't see the date on this one, maybe we can. Right, so it was about almost a week later.
So I guess it did go viral.
A few days.
Absolutely. I just want to do this video. I'm not really into response videos and internet wars and beef, and I don't even understand all of that. I'm here for the victims, okay? I've seen all the backlash. I've seen all the response. I didn't even really understand what viral was when I used the language and all the rest of it. And I'm glad it's got as big as it got. I actually expect it only to really go in Brixton circles, but it's gone bigger than that, which means that even more victims are coming forward. Some people have moved away. You get it? They've moved away. And I want to say to everybody, especially Cecil Rubin, that feels I'm calling up his name and all this rubbish. Yeah, it is your niece. I called a name and I have full verification from your niece. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to call someone's name unless I have their permission to do that. The sister suffered for long enough. I did not say that you were involved. I said, if, listen to the language, if. I guess it did go viral. Absolutely. I just want to do this video. I'm not really into response. So I guess it did go viral. Absolutely. I just want to do this video. I'm not really into response videos and internet wars and beef, and I don't even understand all of that. I'm here for the victims, okay? I've seen all the backlash. I've seen all the response. I didn't even really understand what viral was when I used the language and all the rest of it. And I'm glad it got as big as it got. I actually expect it only to really go in Brixton circles. Actually gone bigger than that, which means that even more victims are coming forward. Some people moved away. You get it? They've moved away. And I want to say to everyone, especially Cecil Rubin, that feels I'm calling up his name and all this rubbish. Yeah, it is your niece. I called a name and I have full verification from your niece. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to tell someone's name unless I have their permission to do that. The sister suffered for long enough. I did not say that you were involved. I said, if, listen to the language, if you were complicit, you knew and felt you couldn't do anything about it. Cecil, you haven't called my phone. You're on all my contacts. The last show you did at Hootenanny before the lockdown, one of the last shows, I performed on that. You know, Cecil, call me if you've got a problem. Yeah, I don't have a problem with you. He's never told me that you did anything. None of the other names that I meant has been mentioned to me in terms of any kind of sexual abuse or anything. The reason I called out Freddie Daly, Abdul Karim, and all those people who work with them, they know me. Call my phone. Why hasn't anyone called me? Call my phone. Yeah. What I'm saying is that I know that what I have, especially with all the other sisters that have come forward, is a massive, massive case against a historic predatory pedophile in our community. That's what I do know, okay? So I'm not just going to lick us without being sure, without verifying it with certain older heads and G's in the community. This is what you've got to understand. The community is behind us. And I don't really care what people say, okay? I don't care what they say. I am here for the victims. That's what I'm here for. Within 1 hour of me putting that video up, I was hit up by 22 sisters, and there's more coming. I'm dealing with them, hence the reason I've been, I suppose, in responding to some of the backlash. People need to talk what they know, because I am. And I'm telling you here, okay, I'm not taking back my talk. I'm not intimidated, okay? This guy is not my bogeyman. He might be somebody else's bogeyman, but he's not mine. I stand for truth, rights, and justice, freedom and equality for everybody, particularly my sisters in the community. This guy's been a scourge in our community for too long. and it's time somebody stood up. In every generation, in each situation, somebody has to stand up and be counted and put an end to tyranny. It doesn't just happen to be me. Not because I'm looking beef, not because I'm a girl, not any of that. Yeah? Not because I'm looking for clout, not because I'm an actress. Like I've heard some of the haters saying, some of them quite close to me, actually. That's interesting. It's very interesting how victim blaming and blaming the messenger, especially when it's a sister that stands up against tyranny of men, particularly our own men. Yeah? It's very interesting how the backlash comes at the individual and at the victim and everybody else. I said that people knew. You've seen witness now with different messages that's going around that people did know. There's certain key individual voice note particularly that's gone viral that bears witness to what I'm saying, that endorses it. It is real. And I want to tell you something, Vincent Rat. I just saw your video go out yesterday about you're at Brixton Police Station. Do your thing. Do your thing is what I've got to say to you. Do your thing. Because I really like to see you prove a libel case with all the witnesses and people and everybody else that is coming forward at the moment. I'd love to you be able to prove a libel case. So do what you need to do. Yeah? Every dog has its day and every rat has its day, quite frankly. End the violence, end the reign of terror. That's what I'm about, okay? I'm about the victims. And like I want to say to anybody else, the reason I called out the nation, all you guys, Freddie, everybody, yeah, is because if you don't know, you should know because you're Brixtonians, and I don't quite understand how you don't know how Vincent stay. So I'm saying, why being referred to as brother elder when he gets up and says things in the nation? Why is he being referred to brother elder and a pillar of the community? He gives donations and whatever else, like a responsible member of the community. Why is he doing that? He hasn't changed. He's still active. He's still a nasty piece of work. I stand for the victims. I stand for the victim. And actually, I don't really give a poop about what anybody else says. I'm not really in the social media world. I don't understand the language. Don't understand any of it. I put up a video in response to the fact that after all the things I've heard about Vincent Rat over the years, okay, after all the things that I've heard, somebody very, very close to me, my daughter's godmother, told me that she too was a victim. So it was time for me to speak up. That's what triggered me. For all of you that want to know, that's what triggered me. Yeah? We can't have it anymore. The time for the wall of silence in the Black community is over. We need to root out, like my teacher, my personal teacher used to say, Dr. Khalid Mohammed, root it out of our communities. Cut off its head and hang it on a pole in the Black. We've had enough. We've been damaged enough. Slavery, exclusion, racism, everything. Yeah, women have had enough. It's one thing that we have to fight, man, and been raped on the plantation and everything else. And another thing that we have these brothers that are equally as damaged. Don't think Vincent ain't damaged. Is he beyond help? Has he reached out for help? He just keeps perpetrating. And sisters have had enough. It's bad enough we have to fight now without the brothers in our community putting us through these situations. Yeah? And when you've got a prolific offender whose reign of terror has gone on 40 years, yeah, I don't need no evidence. The victims are the evidence. The people I'm still talking to, they are the evidence. But people that scratchy and think that they want to defend a nonce, be very careful. Yeah? Anyone who wants to give me death threats or threats to anybody in the organizations that I belong to or whatever, yeah, be very careful. This thing is real, and there are court cases involved. There isn't court cases involved, but there will be, especially if I have my, because it's wrong. It's wrong. And as far as I'm concerned, I am no one but the most high living creator. Anyone who knows me knows this. Yeah, I fear nobody but he. Even my own family, the hype and the messages have been saying, oh, are we at danger and everything else? No, we're at no danger, because I want to see if Vincent Rat or any crony that wants to defend a nonce is bigger and badder than my God. Yeah, I want to see if that's the situation. I don't get anybody but him, and I'm protected and I'm anointed, and so is everything that I touch and everybody that I know. So I don't fear no one today, especially not when it comes to standing up to the tyranny of these dirty pedophiles. That is my life's work. therapist. I'm an activist. That is my life's work to stop tyranny. And there will be no police statements anytime soon. Why? Because many individuals and victims that I've spoken to, some want to remain anonymous, some will go on fire. But anyone who with any salt who knows how to handle a situation like this, that the very first thing that needs to happen is that victims need to be held to be feeling comfortable. Victims need to know they're able to speak to people, comfortable, offload their trauma. And if they want to go on record, only if there's no pressure, yeah, only if we start to gather statements and give it into the police. And I will be liaising with the authorities, using my position as a professional in the borough in previous and present roles. I will do that to liaise with the authorities, because we're not having it. We're not having it. It's not a bad man thing. We're not sending gunman and all of this foolishness. Yeah, we're working and praying with the protection of the Most High, and we will use that be available to us to ensure that we root out man and these things don't happen in the community again. And anyone that wants to second guess it, talk about evidence when you can hear it all around you and suffering, yeah, talk to me or shut up. That's all I've got to say, really, because every name that I called, every single name that I called in my first video, I know every one of those individuals in my contacts. So speak to me, because enough's enough. You either stand with us or you're against us and you're on the other side. So I guess it did go viral.
And that's it right there, isn't it? You either stand with us or you're on the other side. And that's kind of it. That's the demarcation line. And we've seen that play out, haven't we, over history? Yeah, I just find it very interesting. But yeah, there he is, the man himself. It became a standoff, really, between me and him. Because, you know, videos were flying backwards and forwards and death threats and all kinds of madness. I won't bother to show him. I think that was some meme that I put up about him. Because then I was getting happy. I was learning how to use the thing and do whatever. And I was getting all happy about that and putting up memes. I didn't actually create that meme. I think I saw it on WhatsApp and then put it up on here. Then we get to the march, isn't it? So after all that hype, what happened to the march, actually? What's going on? It should be after this. Is it after or before? It goes backwards. No, so this happens. It doesn't seem to be in order. Help me out over here, people. Tanzania, so I think we're going up for when I get back. I'm going to try and show the moment, not the moment I arrive at the march actually, but it's the moment that he tries to turn up at the march and come for me, and then you'll see what happens. Now, October 2021. I'm back in the country here, but I'm pretending to still be in Tanzania. We're leading up to the march. Moment if here. Let's have a look.
Did you think I was gonna leave you, sister? Never ever. I'm sorry I had to throw the curve, but we know we wanted to be one step ahead of them, right? That's right. It's time to stay. I'm so happy. There's strong sisters out here wearing your red, and you know what? No one's got us on because we're not afraid of them today. We're not afraid of them. I hear that their time is up. Yeah, their time is up. We're not afraid of them today, and we're gonna make our voices heard. For we are 2 or 2,000. We're gonna make our voice heard today, because on this very ground, on this very area, there was a time when women were afraid to walk these streets. They were afraid because of the violence and the rape and all the things that our sisters have been Did you think I was gonna leave you, sister?
Not that one. I think it's this one now. This is a continuation on from that one, I believe.
Vermin turned up this morning. I don't know if it's here. Yeah? Oh, that's okay. His time is up. Good men and women to make the change that we want to see in our community. We are Vermin turned up this morning. I don't know if they're still here. Yeah.
So they've hidden your playlist, Brown Sugarful. Well, they would, wouldn't they? They absolutely would. But yeah, I could just take you back down memory lane for the whole evening, my brothers and sisters. I really want to emphasize the link between Rat, all of his activities, and those care homes, and then Colin Moore. That's the link. This guy would have known Rat. He would have indulged with Rat. This guy, Colin Moore. Yeah. And all these years later, his chickens have come home to roost. He's been convicted, not of necessarily what he did in those care homes to those children, but he's definitely been convicted of the abuse of his step. And I need to get the update and the full story to refresh that in my mind, because it's been a long time that we've been sitting in the background on the Colin Moore story. Been a long time. And I'm so happy that that nasty piece of work has come home. I wanted to give you that context, and we are going to go on to talk more about Colin Moore in the coming weeks, but I wanted to give you that context of who Colin Moore is, where it comes from. You know, that's what really the journey has been about down memory lane tonight. I need to give you that context. He worked in the Ebony Care Homes. Yeah, that was on Rat's trail, procuring drugs and taking children out of there for his own devices, but also to procure them up the line to Whitehall. Yes, that's what Rat was doing, amongst other things, maiming people and racketeering and protection rackets and murder, and he did not stop. It was absolutely disgusting and prolific that this one man could terrorize a whole community for 40 years. And Brixton, you must never let him forget. I certainly won't, and I'm not even a Brixtonian. So we will revisit this. Every time I hear a story of him popping up, we are going to revisit this so that we drive it home again and again and again. Yeah, he doesn't dare come out the woodwork at me. He thinks that he can just reinvent himself and I'm going to go away. But we're back. We didn't have a march last year, so that's probably why he's thinking, yeah, the coast is clear. But we are going to have one this year. And the point has to be reinforced in Brixton that that's how we started and this is what it's about. And we will not tolerate man like Vincent Rat, and we will not tolerate anybody like him. Beating women, violating the children. Oh my God, it just goes on and on. So that's what it is. And Colin Moore was slap bang in the middle of it. Just like I said in that live about a man called Buzzer. There were so many of them. He was one of them. He was in that pedo ring. And I didn't realize that it was that this guy was on. Yeah? And if you don't catch Kwaku, you'll catch him shirt. So albeit that he may not have paid for what he did in that ring or that realm, his chickens have come home to roost for something else that he was involved in. It wasn't a part of that ring. tuned, my brothers and sisters, because the chickens are coming home to roost. In fact, the statistics do say that it takes an average of about, with just a singular normal historic abuse case that the police are bothering to investigate or try to put to the CPS. It takes usually in around 3 to 4 years, and it's definitely playing out. It's definitely playing out. So I don't want to hear nothing from these trolls saying we ain't got cases, and we'll still hear them. They'll be in the comments, I'm sure, as we roll by. But yeah, that's what it is, my brothers and sisters. I'm still waiting for information about this dude, Andrew Amechi or Andrew Ochekwo. Still waiting. Still waiting. Somebody in the UK must know this guy. I believe I don't know if he's at large in Nigeria. It's not clear to me if he's paid his way out and got out of jail, but I know he was arrested at one point for his crimes over there. We talked about it last week. I'm not going to go into it right now. But I'm not clear if he was able to pay his way out or if he's now come back to the UK. But this guy's at large, man, and he's so dangerous. Go to my my Instagram page and scroll down a little bit. You'll see a post about him. I did play it last week, or look at last week's live where we covered him a little bit. But nah, this man's proper scary and very, very dangerous to women. So I'd like to get some information about him. I'm putting it out there again. Andrew Amechi Ochekwo. But yes, my brothers and sisters, we're on the 2 hour. Am I going to put the link out? Am I going to bother? Yeah, let's do it. Let's keep with tradition. Going to be out for long, so take it quick if you do want to jump on. But yeah, man, it's good to be. 2024 is going to be bigger and better. We've still got quite a few months till October, so I don't always believe it's a good idea to release promotion too early. People become desensitized to it. Sometimes you kind of flash it there fairly early, give it a rest, and then you come back nearer to the time. And that's what we're probably going to do. So it's a march. It's not a dance. It's not it's a march. It's an event. Sometimes you have to rally a march within 24 hours. Yeah, ours is just a little bit more structured and a little bit more organized than a normal march. And that's what it is. But let us remember and never forget that it is a march. Bigger and better means money, actually. When I say bigger and better in my mind, I'm talking about going on the road and going to different cities in the run-up to the His Time Is Up March 2024. And building that momentum and reaching other parts of the country, which will be funded by my own money. I've already decided I'm just going to do it, because if I wait for our community to fund it, it's not going to happen. But when it comes onto the march, yes, we ask for that. And there's nothing wrong with that. On that live, actually, it's really interesting when people say, oh, Afua's money, this and GoFundMe and and I've said it a lot of times how that GoFundMe came about. But I'd actually forgotten it was on that live that I showed from 2021 that the GoFundMe happened. Because if you go back, you will hear me say to the sister who's in the comments at the time on the Instagram live, and it's my sister in one of our mods here, Sister Sean, who's my sister from Forever Family, that suggests it in that comment. And I look at it and I respond to that and I say what I say. So, and then she sets it up while I'm on the live, and then she puts out the link, and I'm like, oh, okay, thanks for that, sister. And then I talk about how uncomfortable I've been with that idea, because at that point I'd never asked for any money, but it was set up by people around me that said, come on, Afua, you cannot do this all the time on your own. And that's how we roll. Since that, I only ever ask for money when it's March time. I'm not asking you guys for money continuously, but when it's March time, come on, we got to donate, man, and make the thing happen. There's things that have to be paid for to have the march the way that we have it. We could all just turn up, without the extra bits, the rallies and the speeches and the music and whatever. But those things do take a degree of setup, and that's all it is. You understand? there are those around me that believe, well, on top of that, Afua, you should be recompensed for what you're doing. Well, if people want to donate to me personally, which has happened when I come out in the public, I've had people come up and say, especially when I ran the What This Baby Father story, and then I think a little bit after that, there was I think it was Grandma Liz there, and I went out and marched with them or demonstrated with them, and a sister came up to me, and she was actually an old friend of his that I didn't recognize at first, and then I remembered, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember he was like a really good friend of his and whatever. He was like, I was absolutely disgusted with what he's doing and whatever. I haven't seen him in years, but da da da. And somewhere in the march, she came and she pushed some money in my hand. And I was like, no, sister, you know, as you do. And she went, no. It's not even for the demonstration or whatever. It's not even for the movement. She said, use that for baby Afua. You know, she wanted to pay man's maintenance for him. And I took it and I used it on baby Afua. But it's things like that, you know, and I really appreciated that because she saw me. She saw me and she saw what I'm doing, you know. So of course I'm going to accept that. But for the most part, we just want to do with the march, and we want to be able to pay performers to come on and make it bigger and better. And that's what it is, basically, people. So I'm going to love you guys and leave you. I'm going to see you next week, as we do. And I'm hoping to have push on another story, because we featured 3 people last week, didn't we? I'm hoping next week we're going to be able to push on that, one of them, and bring some further information. But until then, my people, I'm going to bid you farewell. I don't think anyone's taken off. I haven't had anyone on for a while. What's wrong with you? Why is everyone so silent, please? What's going on? I think because I go out on Facebook now as well. Can they still copy and paste it in the chats on Facebook? That's the point, isn't it? Since we went out on Facebook, I feel like more people watch it on Facebook. And it's a different type of, yeah, I don't know. I should have 2 screens with the Facebook up and give them the link as well, I suppose. It's just come to me, you know. Facebook people ain't getting the link, and a lot of people are watching it on Facebook now because most of our listenership are of that age group. So a lot of people have jumped off of YouTube and carried it on Facebook, but they're not getting a chance to jump on. It's only just come to me. I'm gonna have to open up the Facebook Live simultaneously while I'm doing my thing. It's a bit like mixing when I used to do radio. Yeah, it will go down in history, and that's cool. Weeks, months, they're still at about it, some people, but now it's all been whispered about. Unbelievable. That wouldn't really go down anywhere else, I believe. There's a certain mentality in Brixton, honestly. I just don't understand it. And yeah, I was asked to retract some stuff through what I was talking about with Vincent Rat the other day. And I stand by what I said. I'm not retracting nothing at the end of the day. I was recently asked to do that, and I told them no. Because, you know, potato. Some people say they support, some people acknowledge him. And it's not good enough. He needs to be extricated from our community. He needs to be extrapolated from the community, shunned, sent to Coventry, stoned, denied, and never let back in. And here he is sitting in community meetings talking about community problems as if he's some sort of saint. It's absolutely perverse. After all of that I've just shown you, it is absolutely perverse. What is wrong with Brixton? Anyway, I could rant on about that because that one's in my claw. I don't get it. It feels like I've done all that for nothing and put myself at risk for nothing in a community that I love, that we're only just going to slip back into the flaming matrix. I can't deal with it though. I'm going soon. Honestly, you see where I was? Listen, I know my sisters have made that jump recently because we can't scare you, so it will mash you up. And you see the difference in me. You know, I'm more lethargic. I'm tired, people. So we'll see where the journey takes us, and we always move with the spirit. Good night, my brothers and sisters, and I will see you next week where we will chop it up once again. Blessed love, blessed love, blessed love. And have a wonderful weekend as always. Oh, before I go, has anybody heard about the 50, I was going to say 50 years, it will feel like that to me, 50 days of rain that the Met Office put out? Has anybody heard about that? that there's 50 days of rain ahead and it's set to be the coldest and wettest summer on record. Hey, my brothers and sisters, I feel it for honor if you don't have the means to leave. But please, who wants to deal with last summer and then have to come back and deal with this summer after experiencing winter from last summer to this summer? And then go back around again, experiencing the coming winter until next summer again and hoping for the best, when actually there will be 2 years then of little to no sunshine. For melanated people, you must want us all to go mad. I can't deal with it. I cannot deal with it, brothers and sisters. I cannot deal with it. And I'm saying to myself, yo, people better try and grab a 2 weeks somewhere in it sometime this summer, because 50 days, that's the whole of the summer gone. That's 2 months. Done, finished. Anyway, try keep yourself safe, people. Keep yourself healthy, and keep yourself focused and motivated. Keep yourself active. Until next week, my brothers and sisters, I will see you then. Blessed love, blessed love, blessed love.